Missiologists use 2% as a number to determine a people group reached or unreached. If there's a 2% indigenous Christian population, they can multiply the churches themselves. Right now, 35,000 people live in Toyosu. 2% of that would be 700 people. In the next 30 years, we would love to see 700 people come to faith, embrace the gospel, and reproduce themselves to make disciples. We started a church in late 2017 with another couple, and for several months we were just two families gathering together on Sundays to sing songs to Jesus and to study the Word together. And we were seeking to learn how to apply the gospel to each other's lives in our day-to-day struggles in the marriage, in parenting, at our workplace. Since then, we've added a few other families to our Sunday gathering, and our purpose remains the same. We want to seek to speak the gospel to each other in a fluent way, to apply the gospel truths in our day-to-day life and struggles in life, so that we can grow in this gospel-centered culture together in our church.
So I never expected to be living in Japan. I knew that I married a Japanese guy, but I never expected to live here. So I think really God has helped us as a family move here. Each of our kids have been in the local Japanese school for the last 4 years, and that's provided a different platform and a different group of families for us to meet. So Jay, our oldest, was all involved in sports, and so we got to be with the sports families. And then there's Kaya, who's second. She has Down syndrome, and so we've been able to connect with a lot of the families who have kids with special needs and who already feel marginalized. And then the younger two, we've been able to meet probably the most moms through the younger two, because they were in a kindergarten for 2 years. And so those moms, coupled with the moms who have kids with special needs, we've mixed them all together, and we study the Bible together. We talk about deep things in life. We talk about silly things that don't matter, but it's life, and so we're doing it together.
It's been surprisingly easy for us to connect with a lot of people in Toyosu, but one of the challenges that we're facing is how to get past the casual conversations and go deep in our relationship to talk about the issues that they're facing in life and how the gospel informs and shapes our thinking and how the gospel applies to their lives. Especially with men, they work long hours, it's hard to catch them. On weekends, they're so tired and they want to just be by themselves. So it's really hard to build long-term relationship with men in our community. And so we're trying to have them over to our house so that we can get to know them.
Hospitality is a big part of our life here. I almost forget about it because that's just something that needs to be incorporated in order to make a community work, and we want to do it as low-key as possible so that it can be reproducible, so one of our friends can see, oh wow, it's not that difficult to host.
We have had people over to our house every other week on Saturday nights at what we call community dinners. There are some people who have come from other places in Japan. They don't have a sense of community, and so our goal is to bring people together to build relationship together with them in hopes that they will see the gospel lived out in our lives, in other Christians' lives, so that they would come to faith in Jesus and embrace the gospel themselves. When we first arrived in Japan, one of the long-term missionaries in Japan told us that on average, it takes a person 7 years to come to faith in Jesus, to meet a Christian person, who studies God's Word, and understands the gospel and get baptized. It takes on average 7 years. We have seen that challenge played out in our relationships as well. Our desire is to see the local Japanese people reached by the gospel, so we have purposefully kept our church size small at first, and we're focusing on just a few people and investing time and resources into them so that we can disciple them and so that they can themselves reach out to their neighbors, their husbands, their friends from our local area so that they can hear the gospel through them.
And so with all that, we wanted to say thank you so much for your support, both prayer and financial, that has allowed us to be in Toyosu and share the gospel with the people around us.
We simply cannot do what we do or to be here without your support. So thank you so much for your prayer and your financial giving that makes all of this possible.